Hey folks, I'm Mike. Do you hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence. It keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, and welcome to an Inkdependence.com brief video review and water drop test. Today we have something that's a little bit special and limited. This is Papier Plume's Mardi Gras Indians Purple. I teased a few days ago this, here it is, this little bottle. This is what it was sent to me in. This is a little vial, or this is my sample. I believe this is actually the smallest bottle size you can get, so it's actually kind of a cute little bottle. I don't know how many mils are in here, but pretty cool. And my pens fit in here just fine, including this guy, which is a Franklin Christoph Panther 40. One of my very favorite pens. Man, I love this pen. But it's fairly wide, and it's got a long nib, and no problem getting in that bottle. So if you're worried about that, don't. It's awesome. All right. So let's zoom in on this guy a little bit and look more closely at what we've got going on. There we go, cool. Good job focusing, camera. I'm figuring out this camera. So this is the Papier Plume Mardi Gras Indians Purple. It is a very cool sort of, I don't know, I think of it as like a, I guess the closest thing to my mind is like it's a kind of a lavendery sort of purple. Oh, you're totally off center. All right. I think of it as kind of a lavendery sort of purple, and I think it's actually really nice. This is on, of course, Rhodia. This is my my favorite paper, kind of bar none. I really like this stuff. And you can see as it catches the light, there's no sheen in this ink. This is just a regular old ink. It's got decent saturation, although you do have some shading, as you can see here in the text a little bit, some here and here. And there's some in the F there, and there's in the swoosh. So you get this sort of much lighter purple every once in a while, but pretty saturated, I would say, and I would also say that it doesn't have too much of anything else going on, like, you know, sheen, nothing weird. It's just kind of a very nice purple ink. And even in the bottle, like, it looks darn nice, I think, in there. I don't usually do a lot of purple inks, is what I usually say, but I've been doing so many purple inks, and darn it if I don't like them. And I actually really like it in this pen. It does do a little bit of bleeding and feathering on the copy paper or the 20-pound stuff. No problems at all here on Rhodia, of course. Rhodia is magnificent, so there you go. From this one, which is a broad stub nib, see if I can get this to focus up close. There we go. You can see this is actually a pretty broad nib, a couple little drops of ink there on the nib there. This is pretty broad, and I think it behaves really well in here. I don't have the other pen handy. I'm not exactly sure what I do with it. Oh, here it is. Haha! Good job, Mike. You found the thing. This is a Regal pen. I talked to Modi, who's the guy behind Regal. He's the CEO, I think, at the DC Pen Show, and he's a super nice dude. So, Regal is a brand that maybe you haven't heard too much about, and this isn't going to be a Regal review or anything, but they've recently gotten fine nibs. I thought they were all mediums before. This is a design called the Elizabeth, I believe, and it's got this nice carbon fiber pattern in there. It's a really weighty pen. This is a pretty medium, I would say, this nib. And this ink performs great in that one as well. So I actually don't really have any complaints about this, this ink. I'll show you the copy paper here right quick. And there it is. This is the Mardi Gras Indians Purple, and you'll see there are some feathers. But keep in mind, this is regular old 20-pound copy paper, no real quality control or anything, and that's a broad stub nib that's kind of wet. If you move down to the medium nib, you will see still a few little feathers. So this ink isn't perfect in terms of performance, but I also don't think it's bad. I mean, here's the other side. Get some of this stuff out of the way. And you'll see there's a little bit of bleed through there, but not really a whole lot. Not anything I would be particularly worried about, if I'm honest. Maybe if you're using a journal that has thin paper or something, this will bleed through. But again, this is the broad stub. The medium, you see a couple little spots here and there, but nothing bad, nothing egregious. Egregious. Yeah, there you go. In terms of performance, just a little bit of feather spread, and a tiny bit of bleed on the 20 pounds. So if you're using this in an office setting, and really it's a purple ink, so probably you're not. Probably you're using it for more personal stuff where you can control the paper better. So use this on better paper, and you'll be very happy. All right. Let's look at some color comparisons right quick, just because I happen to have a bunch of purples inked up in pens these days. I don't have purple pizzazz, unfortunately, to compare this to. Come on, let's focus. Focus factor. Alright, good. Actually, that's terrible. Come on, focus. Need to back off a little bit. There we go, finally. Alright, so here we go. There's a bunch of purples. I don't have purple pizzazz in here anymore. I actually ran that ink out in the pins that it was in, and they're being cleaned. So, I don't have that one to show you, but you can look back at the Diamond Purple Pizzazz. I think this is actually fairly close. It doesn't have the sparkles, of course, but this purple color is pretty close. This is one that's coming up soon, and I keep saying that, and I keep not writing the review. I need to just get busy and write that review, but this is Sights Cruisenach Dark Orchid, which is a fantastic little, I don't know, orchidy purple. It's kind of like the center of an orchid. I have like a white and purple orchid, which I think is really common, and it looks kind of like that. You've got Lamy Dark Lilac, which is actually pretty... I mean, it's not super far from the Mardi Gras, except that the Dark Lilac has a whole bunch of sheen to it. Let's see if I can catch any of that sheen. There you go. You can see the sheen go. It gives you this like weird yellow tint over the top. So if you don't like the sheen, get some Mardi Gras. There you go. Noodler's Bay State Blue, which when I write with it, always looks sort of purpley when I put the ink down, and then it dries to this blue. Let's see if it shows up on camera here. Not well. Maybe it's just the lighting or something. I don't know. Anyway, I always think of Bay State as a little bit of a purpley blue. By the way, very cool blue, this one. Then Herbon's Blue Ocean, which is coming up soon, and then Cross Violet. So these are kind of blues to go with the purple, and then Cross Violet. Let me do another squiggle of Cross Violet. That looks a little bit darker than I remember it being. There we go. That's more vivid. Maybe it just kind of dries to that, although I am getting a bit of sheen there, so, you know, from the Cross Violet. But, this Mardi Gras purple is actually really nice, and it's meant to commemorate the Mardi Gras Indians, who are a fixture of New Orleans, which is kind of cool. So, alright, check this out at well, actually only in one place, and that's Papier Plume. That's these folks. And also, it's going to be a limited run. This is one of their limited editions. There won't be terribly many bottles, although I don't honestly know how many. They should go on sale around 11 o'clock in the morning. I believe that's Central Time in Louisiana. And I'll have the link in the post, so you can go directly there as soon as it's live. This usually sells out fairly quickly, so if you want some of this Mardi Gras purple, don't dilly-dally and don't dither. Get in there. Alright, let's see. We'll do a water test now. Get that done. I knew I was forgetting something in my water test. Alright, so here we go. Well, that was a whole syringe. Good job, Mike. And you can definitely see some of it swirling away. That's actually, it looks kind of nice. I'm going to take a picture of that with my other camera here. Just right quick. Snap. Alright, so there you go. Whoa, that totally screwed up the focus, didn't it? Yeah, so a lot of it swirling away there. Let's go ahead and mop it up. Yes. Alright. And, hey, way more left over than I thought there was going to be, honestly. I mean, there's a lot left over here on the tissue, but... Or a lot of purple on the tissue, but not really. Nothing going on there. Alright, so hey, this has actually got some water resistance to it. I am surprised by that. I thought it would just all go away and just be poofed, but gone. But no, nothing like that going on. So a lot of it came up, and actually you can see some very cool, like almost chromatography type stuff going on here, like blue fading around the edges, right? So there you go. Alright, let's take a look at the chromatography right quick. And there we go. Alright, this is what you end up with. Yeah, there. Bam. You can see a nice sort of like light band down here, and I guess that's kind of what's left over, although there's significantly more left over in this this water test splotch than there is here. So yeah, a little bit of more water resistance than I thought there was going to be. So that's cool. And then up here at the top, just like this beautiful blue. You get this beautiful blue on top of some a lot of inks. I think like grays sometimes you'll get this, and every once in a while in greens you'll get it, and sometimes in purples. And this is one of those ones where you get that purpley bands, and then you get this like awesome blue across the top. So that's pretty cool. Check that out. All right. Let's see. One more thing. Oh, and that's Tomoe River. So I have this in a couple of swatches here. Here's one. This is, it says 812. Yeah, that's about right. I've had this for about a week. And yeah, there you go. You see some really nice shading and color variation and that sort of thing. I think it's actually a really pretty ink. And then down here, this is for the Panther 40. I've only had it in there for a couple of days, but I really like it, actually. And actually, I think it's been more than 816. I think I just kind of wrote that down because it was the actual date that day. Or maybe oh no, I forgot to write it down. That's what it was. So I just kind of guessed. Anyway, I've had it in there for several days. So there you go. All right. And no weird behavior from this. It's been working perfectly fine ever since I inked it up. It's not like, you know, eating the paper or anything terrible like that. It's doing great. So there you go. All right. Well, that's the Tomoe River. This is actually in an ink journal. If you haven't got an ink journal yet, go get an ink journal because these things are real helpful. I've got a lot of inks in here that I have journaled. That's that Papier Plume caramel, which I think is gorgeous. And, yeah, some other stuff. All right. Oh, there's the purple pizzazz. We can sort of compare it a little bit. So that's the purple pizzazz. And this, if I can get it to focus, there we go. So purple pizzazz here, Mardi Gras Indians here. Purple pizzazz looks a little shinier, I guess. This tends to have a little bit of a matte feel to it, which I think is very cool. I love that effect on an ink. But yeah, pretty close, just like I thought, except no sparkles. No sparkles in Indians purple. They could have totally put sparkles in there, and I think it would have been fine and Mardi Gras-y, but what do I know? I am not from New Orleans. All right, so this has been Ink Dependence. I am Mike. This is Papier Plume's Mardi Gras Indians Purple, and it's only going to be available for a very short amount of time, so watch this video quickly, and then, you know, set your timer for tomorrow. I think 11 o'clock in the morning Central Time is when this sucker will go live, and you can get yourself a bottle of Mardi Gras Indians Purple, which is very cool. So there you go. Thanks very much to Papier Plume for sending this out. Renzo, you're a good dude, and thanks for sending me this ink out. And thanks to all my patrons. Find me in all the normal places, such as Ink Dependence on Instagram. That's at Ink Dependence. You can find my blog at inkdependence.com, and you can find me on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/Michael Madison. That's me. All right. Oh, and hey, if you wanted to follow the adventures of Scraggles the dog on Instagram, go to @Scraggles the dog, all one word, and that'll be my dogs and cats and stuff and their adventures. All right, so that's it. I'm Mike. Peace out.